All right, what's happening? How's everybody doing today? This is Can I Get More Podcasts in my monitor. I am Johnny Ruckus. How's everybody doing on this June 7th, 2020? It's a Sunday. I don't know. I think it's pretty decent out. I was actually a little chilly this morning. It was a little chilly in my house. Of course, a couple months ago it would have been like, oh, I'm putting shorts on, which I did anyways, but gotta complain. Sorry I missed a show last week. Just with everything going on in the world, I didn't feel it was right. I didn't feel right doing a show. It's kind of sad. I was just kind of sad for the world. And I didn't want to do a bummer show where I was just like, hey guys. Because I kind of just felt like that. I woke up just being tired and sad, and I didn't feel like doing the show was the best bet. So I didn't. So, but I am here today. Hi. So, feeling a little bit better. The world is still, a much crazy place. I know I'm good at words. Much crazy place. It's wonderful. But I did take the time to listen to a bunch of sad country songs last week and mow my lawn and stuff like that. So I just rode around on my lawnmower with my headphones in, just singing country songs. So, or no one could hear me. Anyways, today I want to get into a list of albums. I doubt I'm going to get through all of them, which is fine. It's kind of a list of albums that kind of shaped a bit of what kind of musician I became. Some are obvious, and then some probably aren't. These are mostly rock and metal. Yeah, I'd say for the most part in that area, because that, as much as I in the last few years have really started to enjoy country music a lot. I suppose probably some of these things could probably be changed around, because listening to some of that stuff has changed how I do music. But I think there was a certain point where, it was mostly just rock music, which is all right. Shout. I don't know what that was either. Don't blame me. Okay, blame me. That's fine. So I might take a couple of these out, or just add a couple, because I made a list. It was a while ago now, and I think things have probably changed. Not as far as like what's on the list, but there's probably additions now. But when I feel I need to talk about that, I will. So I did my first episode of this podcast. I pretty much talked about Nevermind for the most part. So that, that's on my list for certain. I don't know how much, I don't think I really delved too much into it. It just kind of how I felt about the album and what it did to pique my interest in having my own kind of music, like I was saying. So go back and listen to my first episode, and you can hear me stumble over my words about that. But yeah, the first one I want to talk about is Nirvana Nevermind. What was that? October 91 it came out. Smells Like Teen Spirit was the lead video. I didn't have MTV, but I had a bunch of friends who had cable and stuff like that. So I did see I saw that. I'm sure I heard it on the radio. I'm betting that's probably what when I first heard it, I don't remember the exact moment or anything like that, but I remember the time. So "Smells Like Teen Spirit" is the first, is the lead single on it, as well as the first song on the album. Which how they piece this album together, as far as what order the songs, and I think is pretty masterful. I don't know if that was the band. I don't know if that was management, whatever. It doesn't really matter, but it's just masterful. "Smells Like Teen Spirit." It starts out with that clean guitar. We all know it, and then it explodes and it's angry and, everything a kid wants to hear. And then the next, I don't remember if "In Bloom" was the second single or the third single. Maybe it was the fourth single. I don't know. I think they released 4 or 5, at least 4 singles off this album. Yeah. So I don't remember what the order was. It doesn't matter. "In Bloom's" the second song on Nevermind. It's a completely different style of song from "Smells Like Teen Spirit." Obviously, the bass playing on it is, if you delve into Nevermind at all, the bass playing, Chris Novoselic, is kind of the unsung hero of the whole band. It's not just playing roots, which there isn't any problem with doing that, but with being a 3-piece band, he was able to do a lot of things with the bass that, I wouldn't do, not that I'm, that's a good thing. That bass line of it, obviously, him and Dave Grohl are just ridiculously tight in that whole thing, and then the performance, I heard Butch Vig talk about this album, and that was a very large part of it, is just capturing performance. Doesn't have to be perfection, which, I mean, they perform them perfectly, but it wasn't about that. It was just about capturing great performances. And obviously Kurt, a great performance, but the rhythm section, Chris Novoselic and Dave Grohl, what a fantastic performance on "In Bloom." Super tight. It's energetic. Just awesome. "Come As You Are" is the next one. So they blast off 3 singles right in a row. Everybody, it seemed that there were times where everybody wanted the singles were like, number 10 on the album. No, not Nevermind. They just blasted them right off. "Come As You Are" is number 3. What can you say? The use of chorus on that guitar in the opening. Is that chorus or is that phase? I think that's a chorus. Opening up, and then it's kind of when the drums come in, it feels kind of dreamy almost, with that chorus effect. And I think the doubling of the vocals, that first, when he says "Come As You Are," the first line, the word "come" is a little, there's something going on with the double vocal where it just makes it a little bit more, there's a dreaminess to it. I don't know if that was on purpose or if that's just how it came out. Maybe there's a little chorus on the vocal. I'm not positive. But again, the performance was great on that. It wasn't anything super difficult as far as the playing, but the song structure, and obviously the song is so strong. Chris Novoselic he didn't, I think he played in the same register as the guitar instead of doing the octave lower. maybe had some sort of effect on his bass too. I'm not positive, but you get 3. Obviously, Smells Like Teen Spirit's pretty aggressive. In Bloom is is intense, but it's not necessarily aggressive. Come As You Are, the same thing. You know, there's obviously an intensity to it as well, but it's not an aggressive song. And then number 4, Breed, comes along, and they're and that's an aggressive ass song. You know, we all know that they like that punk rock attitude, and Breed brings that for sure. It's a wild song, especially compared to the first 3 songs on the record. The tone of the guitar that they dialed up for this for the intro to this is awesome. You know, the performance is awesome. You can feel the energy. They captured the energy of a song like Breed needs to have and does have. They captured that. That's not always. That's, if you don't know about recording or making records, that is one of the most difficult things, is capturing what energy a band may produce live onto a recording. That's not like a live record. That's a studio record. It's difficult. And they're able to capture it. Obviously, throughout this whole thing, their performances are great. But they got they were able to capture the energy on Breed. You know, that's awesome. Another single, number 5, Lithium. What a fantastic song. There's a lot of layers to this song. Obviously, the performances, once again, this is going to be a lot. I'm going to mention that about 30,000 more times, I'm sure, talking about Nevermind. But the bass playing is kind of the glue again to this song. The walking bass line that Chris Novoselic does throughout the whole song is amazing. And the minimalist drums that Dave does, you know, through the verses, you know, and then explodes into the chorus, just makes the chorus way more important at feeling, and just sound giant compared to the rest of the song or the verses, you know. That loud, quiet, loud thing. That's one of the things when I write songs. Not every song, obviously, but that's where the idea from that comes, you know, which they got from the Pixies, you know. But great idea. And, you know, I've used that throughout the entire time I've written songs in my life. You know, that kind of dynamic thing, I really enjoy that. Really, you can really bring it down super soft, and then it explodes into the chorus. That's definitely something I stole from them. Then Polly is number 6 on the album. What a just what's the word I'm looking for? Melancholy, I guess. Morose, is that right word? I'm not sure. But what a different feel, definitely, from the first 6 songs. Obviously, it's about some really dark subject matter. But what a different performance. What a different song. That's probably up to that point in the album, it's the most chilled out. I don't know, but the subject matter is so heavy. But I guess it's chilled out. Then number 7, Territorial Pissings. This is ridiculous. What a punk rock energy. just a blazing tune. 2 minutes and 23 seconds. It is aggression all the way through. It's nonstop. Just when you want to get jacked up or anything, or if you feel crappy and you want to like scream along with a song, yeah, you put on territorial pissings and you just bellow out whatever comes out of your face with that one. What a ridiculous in the best way song. This was always a fun song to play back when I was a kid, trying to play like as fast as you can pretty much and just beat the shit out of everything. If you're the drums, you beat the shit out of the drums. Same with the guitar, the bass, you beat the shit out of them. You beat the shit out of your voice. Everything. It's so aggressive that you can't not just want to freak out when you listen to this song. All right, the next song is Drain You. This is one of the songs that on any given day will be my favorite song. One of probably three for sure. As much as I like all like the singles and all the stuff that everybody listens or everybody knows, this song really does it to me. Starts out with just Kurt and it's a clean guitar kinda, and then the whole band comes in the second the second line of the verse. The riff itself makes the song move, but then just with the aggressive drums, the whole thing, what an amazing song. It kind of is like, well, why didn't they release this as a single? Maybe it wouldn't have worked. I don't know. Cause it is a little different than, it's definitely different than Smells Like Teen Spirit. It's kind of on the same lines as In Bloom, just with how the feel is with the whole thing is kind of a moving, creates movement kind of thing. I don't know, but what a great song. What a fucking great song. I can't get enough of this thing. So I think more often than not, this is going to be my favorite song on the album. It's definitely like one of my favorites to like play, if I'm just sitting around, if I got my acoustic even or anything like that. Obviously I can't sing like that, but it's so fun. I really, there isn't anything else I can say that no one knows. Just listen to Drain You. It's so fucking good. What a great kind of, I don't know. I guess almost kind of like pop song-ish, but what a great fucking song. There's nothing more I can say about it. Number 9 is Lounge Act. This is another one of those songs that might, depending on the day, could be my favorite song off the album. The bass line. What an amazing bass line. Obviously carries the song, the whole song. It's a short song, 2 minutes, 37 seconds. And it creates movement, in a song that obviously by itself, if you just play it acoustic and sing it, it's a great song, but it has a different movement when you get the bass and then obviously the drums with it too. It has I don't know how else to describe it. It just kind of creates movement. And that's one of the many parts of a song or that can make a song great, Next one is Stay Away. I think it kind of, this song at certain times in its life was pay to play. This song is actually probably on my least favorite song on the whole record. Not that it's a bad song or anything like that. I have a lot of Nirvana songs. They were not all songs were great. The ones that made it on albums obviously were great. There's a lot of B-sides that weren't. And when this was pay to play, yeah, it still didn't get me. Stay away. It doesn't do it for me. You know, in an album that is like full of A's and all that stuff, this is like to me anyways, this is probably somebody's favorite song, and I'm not trying to shit on that. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. But you know what I mean? It's like I don't know, it's like a C for me at best. You know, so if you're saying is this a perfect album, I think Stay Away is the one that brings it to it's not a perfect album, but hopefully that's just me. I just don't vibe with it very much. I don't know. Just one of them things. You know, not every you don't can't like every song, I guess. But on a plane you can like that all the time. This is another one of those songs that on any given day will be my favorite song off this record. You get the goofy kind of a little noisy. It's just this riff that doesn't really matter. And then the song starts, and then Kurt comes in like maybe a beat later, and then the chorus just super easy. You know, it's kind of a chorus. Love myself better than you. With the harmonies and all this stuff. Oh, it's so good. I might be talking myself into this being my favorite song today. I don't know. But what an amazing song. It's so good. And then just that, like at the end of the verses, I don't know if guess it's kind of a chorus. The love myself better than you. I know it's wrong, but what should I do? Just, I don't know. I just can't even. And then the breakdown in the song is so good. It doesn't slow down the momentum of the song whatsoever. It doesn't change the feel of the song whatsoever. It's all in the same realm. And it just keeps driving, and it just keeps being fucking awesome. So again, another song I guess you could listen to would be, you know, On a Plane. That's another song you definitely need to listen to. The Way is the last song. What a like a depressing song. I heard Butch Vig talk about the song and how they couldn't quite get the performance right of how they were thinking how this should sound, and then Kurt was laying on the couch in the control room or something, just barely playing the acoustic and singing along. So he brought a mic in or two or whatever, shut everything off, the fans and all that stuff, and he played the song laying down or something like that with this 5-string acoustic. And then later on they added the drums and the bass and the was that cello in there. And I guess they had a fun time piecing it together. But you know, it obviously turned out great. And then I think I don't know if all had the hidden track, all the album releases. Pretty sure they did, but sometimes they do that where different pressings don't have the hidden track. But you got to wait about 5 minutes. Well, I would say probably like 3.5, 4 minutes for Endless Nameless. It's just a ridiculous, not much of a song, but it's just noise. I know they played it live. It was like they played it live right before they trashed their gear and shit. So yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's not really a song on the album. It's a hidden track. So it's just chaos. That's all it is. It's fucking chaos. And it's interesting to listen to, but it's not like oh man, you know what? My favorite Nirvana song? It's Endless Nameless. Yeah. You ever hear that song? I bet you haven't. Nobody says that. But it's fun nonetheless. It's a good time. All right, well, there's Nevermind. The next one I want to talk about is, and these aren't when I'm talking about these songs, they aren't in any order. Like Nirvana Nevermind is my favorite album of all time, or it's just part of like what influenced me as a musician, you know. So my next album I want to talk about is 311's Transistor. Came out in '97. I at the time was not really a 311 fan. You know, the that self-titled album came out in '95. Down was the big song, and and then they had a few other all mixed up. Don't Stay Home, and being, let's see here, I would have been around 13, so just starting in high school, you know, when things become really large very quickly. Excuse me. You know, everybody's got a point, has to shit on it, and I kind of just went in on that. Down was cool. I thought All Mixed Up was cooler. I do remember hearing Don't Stay Home, because when I heard that song later, when I got into 311, I was like, oh, sounds really familiar. And I know I heard it at some point. I don't know if it was seeing a music video or hearing it on the radio or what, but that was after Down and All Mixed Up. But I really wasn't a 311 fan until at this point. I did have cable. Hey. And I was watching MTV, and they had this thing called the MTV Sports and Music Festival. It was in, I think it was October of '97. So Transistor would have came out in like August, I think it was, before that. It was like 3-day festival. It was really cool. I really enjoyed watching that. I know, like the Offspring was on it one day, and I don't think Blink-182 was on that one. I think they're on the next year. But 311 played on that Sunday, which was their the last day. You know, it was like a 3-day event or something like that. So I thought it was really rad. And I like live music. I like watching people play music live. So I'll watch people play live on television or whatever, even if I don't necessarily like them. I just like to watch it. But anyways, 311 comes on, and I'm familiar with Down. I'm sure they played that, or maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't play that first. I'm not sure. I don't quite remember. But when I heard Beautiful Disaster, I was like, oh, I'm a 311 fan now. I must own everything. I don't know what it was. It's a pun intended, I guess. It is a beautiful song. It's heavy, but not in like in a super aggressive way. It's heavy, and if it's like the guitar is just giant on it, and it's super tight. I just came off talking about Nirvana, and there's a giant level of looseness to the guitar playing and stuff from Kurt Cobain. Whereas 311, all their stuff is like super tight. Everything is really fit together very, very, very nicely. So I heard Beautiful Disaster, and that was it for me. Whatever it was in that time of my life was my ears were really liking what I was hearing. So I don't think I bought the album right away. I think it was a few years, maybe not a few years, maybe another year or so, because I think I could drive by that point. Yeah, something like that. I don't remember, but I know I didn't buy the album right away. I think I was going to Chicago and I bought an album. And Transistor's an album that if you want to not waste some time, but if you have some time on your hands, yeah, Transistor is the album that you listen to for sure. It's got 21 songs on it. It runs, I want to say somewhere, it's over an hour. It's an over an hour of music. I would say it's not all great. But the songs that are less great, it doesn't mean they're bad or anything. It's just not quite as good as some of the best songs on it, like Transistor. The lead track on it is awesome. You know, yeah, that's super amazing. It's super heavy right out of the gate. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then blast off into it. What's really neat about this song, and is this might be the only record that I remember having this, is this actually had a hidden song, but it was before the rest of the songs. Like, you hit play on Transistor and you play the song, and it didn't work on every CD player. I also remember that you could rewind as soon as you hit play on Transistor and starts going. You hit rewind, and it goes to negative time, and you can go into about a minute and a half back, and you hear da-na-na-ch, da-na-na-ch. It's just an instrumental, minute and a half song, but it was a hidden track on the beginning of the album, which was super cool. And I know if I hit rewind on my iTunes, it won't play it. I think you have to have the CD, or obviously I'm sure you could find the song, whatever it was called. I don't remember what it's called offhand. I have to look it up. I'm not going to do that right now. But it was really cool. I thought that was awesome. And I think that was one of the early on the internet things I read, which was rad. Then you got Prisoner. That's the next song. Cool modulated guitar. I think there's a tremolo on it, as well as probably an octave. Tim Mahoney is a big fan of using the Boss. I believe it was the OC2 octave pedal. The brown Boss pedal. I actually had one on my pedal board years and years and years ago because of Tim Mahoney. Neat. You can't play chords in it, but single notes is really, it's a neat pedal. I'd still consider getting one. It's cool. Yeah, super tight song so far. And then Galaxies number 3. I think this one was more of a heavier song, if I remember right. Yeah. Probably their most outright heavier song at this point. Big chords. They did an effect on the snare, if I remember right. It was a different kind of snare. Sounded just, I think it was a lot of reverb on the snare probably, and it just exploded into it. And then Beautiful Disaster was number 4. Great song. If you don't know it, check out Beautiful Disaster by 311. super tight riff. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I'm gonna hum it, and then it's got dual leads and stuff in it. Just a really, really just amazing song. Just a great song, no doubt about it. Next song is called Inner Light Spectrum. It's kind of a super dreamy song. It's not, I don't think there's any distortion in it at all. Dreamy song, it's kind of like a palate cleanser ish. It's not I don't think it's like a filler song necessarily. Like some of these, when you get into the middle teens on this album, some of these are kind of filler songs, but that's a good song. Electricity's awesome. That's a little bit more straightforward rock with like palm muted power chords and stuff like that. Not a filler. Very good song. I really like the song a lot. What Was I Thinking is really cool because it's got like this slap pop bass line. It's pretty heavy and aggressive. They do put some like distortion or something on the vocal. It's always a fun song. There's a lot of energy to the song. Great song to listen to, and it was fun when you're like learning how to play bass or if you're just fucking around. It's really easy part to play, but it's like super fun. He's like, yeah, I could slap pop. It's neat. Pretty fun. Next song is called Jupiter. Starts out with like and like an organ kind of sound, and then goes into like a hip hop beat. Really, really tight hip hop beat with great ghost notes. Chad Sexton is such an amazing drummer. They didn't do a lot of the kind of awkward field changes that they did in previous records on this one. There's obviously parts where there is that, but I've always been amazed at how he's able to change feels mid-song just from part to part and just make it sound seamless. I don't know, something that just, maybe it's easy and I'm just a simpleton, which, would not be surprising, but the way he's able to do that just amazes me. But Jupiter has a great like hip hop style beat. There's electric guitars over it, distortion and all that shit. But yeah, just a great. This is one of the songs that you get the feel of how Chad Sexton plays drums. Super duper tight. The snare sounds obviously great. The records always sound awesome. But Use of Time is the next song. This was one of my favorite songs on this record. Not was, is. I was always, there's two giant like guitar solos in this song. There's at least one. Maybe I should do some research and, but I won't. That's not how I roll. Yeah, it starts out with an acoustic guitar, which I think to this point was probably the first song that they had, a song that a lot of it is built around an acoustic guitar. Easy part, I think a 2 or 3 chord part. I really, let's see. Yeah, hip hop beat under it. Great performance. Yeah, this is on this record, I'd say up to this point so far that this is a song that really shows you what Tim Mahoney is as a guitar player. Just as the solos in this song and the performance of the even through the rhythm parts on the choruses and stuff like that. They're just the guitar sound is huge. The solos are fantastic. This is one of my favorite 311 songs, period. Definitely on this album. The Continuous Life is next. Super airy, dreamy. You know, they're really good at making these kind of soundscapes. Good song, still. I wouldn't say filler on this one. So I mean, you're real solid through the first. I mean, Continuous Life is number 10. So the first half of the record, pretty solid here. No Control's the next one. It's kind of a funkier song. There is pretty good distortion. I do like No Control a lot. Tones are great. The performances are awesome. So you're real solid through the first, again, the first half here. I'm kind of playing these songs in my headphones so I can remember what they all sound like. Running, it's another airy kind of song. It's an all right song. You're starting to get into a little bit of filler here now. They probably could have cut off a lot of these songs and maybe come out with like a 13, maybe 14 song record, and you'd have a really, really solid record. Some of these are getting a little, they're going to start getting a little fillery here. Maybe they just put it on there just because they wanted to put 21 songs on it. Not exactly sure why. But it could be at this point, too, that they were they were just coming off a big success of their self-titled album. So their record label probably gave them a little bit more of a leash than they maybe would have. I'm glad that they put all these songs on here because there is some, even if it is a filler song, doesn't mean it's always bad. Some of them are kind of boring, but some are like, oh, it's still kind of neat. Like I still enjoy them, but I think it would probably make a stronger record if some of these weren't on here. And that happens. There's tons of, there's tons of albums. There's a lot of albums through like the grunge era and stuff like that, where a lot of those songs are filler, and they have like 3 good songs on them. Not necessarily like the bigger bands in that genre or that time period. Like the Soundgardens and Alice in Chains and Pearl Jams and all that kind of stuff. But there was a lot of filler on a lot of those records. So if you hear a lot of like, I'm going to pick on them a little bit, like Mudhoney, most of their records are filler, in my opinion. And they had like 3, maybe 4 pushing it good songs. Whereas I know I'm a Soundgarden fan, but there are some songs on those records that I'm probably going to get blasted for this, but whatever. But some of those songs are not good. And those are filler songs in my opinion, but I couldn't tell you what they are, so don't ask. But I guess the greatest songs on all those are so much better that you can have filler and it doesn't really matter. But I don't know where I was going with that, but there is some filler going on in this album for sure so far, and we are starting to run into it here. Number 13 is called Color. This is it's a minute, just under 2 minutes. It is a filler song. I want to say it's it's an instrumental song. I mean, it's neat. The feels in it and stuff like that. It's a din 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 din. It's a neat thing, and there's some cool shit in it. But does it need to be there? I don't think it needs to be there. But next one is Light Years. Another really neat groove. It's a short song. They put a lot of short songs here through this filler. Maybe I shouldn't call it that, but They're all like 2-minute songs. Again, neat feel. I like to listen to this song, but just as far as like making the album better, I don't know if it does that or not. Not, it's hard to say. I know I'm like wishy washy on it, but I don't think it makes it better. But moving on. Okay, we got Creature feature. This one has got like a fretless bass on it. Again, got some neat riffs to it. I don't know if it helps the album. And I feel like I'm turning people off from like listening to this thing. And that's not the case because like again, these are fun songs. But just as far as making a 21 song over 1 hour album, I don't know if you needed to do that or not. But either way, we move on. Song's called Tune In. This one's actually really neat. It's kind of a short song. Lots of rapping from Mr. Essay on here. It's a good song. It's a short song. It's just over 2 minutes, which most of these ones through here are. Definitely like 311 in this time. Like you could listen to this just without even any of the like the words or anything like and be like, "Oh yeah, that's 311 for sure." That sounds exactly like what 311 did in the later part of the 90s here. Next song is called Rub-a-Dub. This is a filler song, and for whatever fucking reason, I love this song. It's good. I really enjoy this song. I always have. I don't know if it's necessarily dub-ish, but you know how they did with the reggae stuff, and it's airy and it's fun, and I really like it. This is definitely one of these songs that someone would probably be like, "Oh, that song's garbage," and I will fight you on that because I really like it. But that's okay. Okay, the next song, Star Shines. This one is it's again it's fun, but it's not one of the strong filler songs. This is kind of just a whatever song, honestly. Again, some neat stuff in it, but it's not like it's not great. It's just kind of there, which is I guess the definition of a filler song. Next one's called Strangers. Neat groove to it. The bass line is really neat. It's got like this funk guitar thing on it with the envelope filter. Auto wah filler song. It's okay. There's some decent shit to it, but it's not like there's not going to be anybody that says, "Oh yeah, remember Strangers from 311? Yeah, that's my favorite song." No one's going to say that. But that's okay. Borders is the next song. I really like this song. It is this one's creeping a little bit closer to 3 minutes. It's a really heavy guitar-based song. Nick and Essay both are on it, both doing like a hip-hop thing still. They started getting away from the rapping later on, but this one is still here. It's a short song, but it's super heavy. I really like this song. I always thought this song was cool. Is it going to be anybody's favorite song? I don't know. Probably not. But again, I think it's really neat. Then Stealing Happy Hour is the last song. It's got a certain feel to it that is, it's upbeat, and then somehow still there's like a, I don't know if melancholy is the right word or what, but there's a sadness to it, but yet it's upbeat. I don't know how that works. But it's a neat song. There's like kind of some ethereal stuff going on there. Funky guitar on it. Really good bass line. It's kind of the same feel throughout the whole song, you know, for the most part. But it's a neat song. So, and I think there's like some sort of hidden song at the end of it, kind of. But it's just noises. So that's the transistor right there. I know I probably just gave you a big reason to not listen to it, but it's an enjoyable album. And if you just want to like groove and just kind of enjoy the sounds, all those songs that I kind of went through that are kind of filler, quote unquote songs, they're still enjoyable. You know, if you're just like hanging out, doing something, or just want to kind of like chill out, you can rifle through a bunch of songs in no time. You know, because they're all like 2-minute songs and stuff like that. So yeah, they're really neat. Neat album to listen to. So I think what I'm going to do, wow, I only made it through 2 songs, and I'm just blabbering on. So I think we'll call it there. So I appreciate you listening. Again, sorry about not putting out a show last week, but like I said earlier, I just didn't feel it, you know. I guess that happens from time to time. Sometimes you just got to do it, but I think with everything coming out with the world, I don't know, it's kind of sucked. I just felt shitty. I didn't want to do it. So I hope the world's getting better. The world needs to heal. People need to heal. I think people need to stop fighting about like what color tie you wear, you know, blue, red, whatever, or what color dress you wear, and realize that we are all in this together. You know, we're much stronger as one than we are as individuals. So I think there's learning that is happening, and I hope people are coming together more, you know. So with that being said, I appreciate everybody listening today, and I think I'm going to probably continue this series. I don't know if I'm going to do it all back to back, or maybe I'll do a couple and then break it up. Not sure yet. I will figure that out when I get there. But yep, definitely appreciate you listening or watching if you're on the YouTubes. So this is, let's see, what am I, episode 10 here now, I think? Yeah, I think this is episode 10, June 7th. Can I get more podcasts in my monitor? I am Johnny Ruckus, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you.